The church at its best has been a place where people have gathered to experience God. It has been a place that inspired people to sing Christ's song to the world. It has been a place that has held people in the deepest of grief. It has been a place that gave voice to great philosophers and thinkers that have reshaped our understanding of the world and of God. The church at its best has been a place of refuge for those without words, confused by life. The church at its best has been a place that clothed the naked and fed the hungry, seeking the risen Christ. The church at its best has been a place that helped birth generations of faithful saints equipped to participate in God's mission in the world. The church at its best has been a place that shared a living, vibrant faith and handed it over to the next generation to make it their own. The church at its worst has been a place that silenced the abused, turned its back to injustice. The church at its worst has been a place that silenced creativity and questioning. The church at its worst has preached bad theology to unspeakable tragedies. The church at its worst has misrepresented God. I do not believe that we are experiencing the death of the church. I do believe that we are in the midst of a powerful transformation, and change can be difficult and painful. Neither do I believe that we should take time to blame pastors, seminaries, congregations, or conferences for a declining membership. It is only together that we can hear God's voice calling us into new places. God stands here with us in this moment, beckoning us into deeper relationship, new expressions of faith, and new possibilities, inviting us to explore new creativity, new technologies, and new ways of defining church. We need not be perfect. We need not build a perfect church. We need to be authentically ourselves before our Creator. The burden we must lay down is that of our fear. We must invest ourselves in what our faith has proclaimed, that we worship a living God, a God who is still speaking. We must be willing to allow things that have sustained our forebearers of faith to be set aside if they are no longer relevant. What exactly are those things? What exactly do we lay down? There is not one answer. In one place, moving beyond the creeds may be the right answer. In another, Sunday morning worship. In another, both. And in another, a church building. Our diversity is a gift that makes such prescriptive answers challenging and problematic. The burden we must rid ourselves of is anything contrary to the notion that God is not yet done with us. We must be willing to question the entirety of our faith so that we might step into our next chapter. Not only willing but able. We must be outfitted and prepared for this task. One of the people who has nurtured, supported, and equipped me for service in the church is a strong woman of faith who was my pastor for a time. She recently left ministry as a vocation and is returning to a teaching career. As I listened to her final sermon online, she explained to her congregation why the time was right for her to leave. She said, "I prayed myself out of the church." Soon after, I wrote to her. She told me in a long reply that she believes everything that Jesus says about God, but does not believe everything the church says about Jesus, and ultimately could not authentically do ministry within this contradiction any longer. I know the tension she speaks of. I think most pastors know it. We know it when we speak of salvation. We know it when we speak of what it means to be a Christian. We know it when we speak about death. The distance between the seminary-equipped saint and her loving, liberal, saint-filled congregation became too great, and in the end I believe the church lost out on the gifts of one who might have helped the church move beyond itself and into who God is calling us to be. I believe we must strive to put sound theological thinking into the faith of the next generations. We must strive to equip the next generations, and this, to ask the scary questions. We must give them the power to unravel their faith and build it anew. To build it in ways that are unfamiliar, in ways that don't look like the way church has worked in history. They must be equipped to build a church beyond the historical definitions and historical configurations, so that the church God is beckoning into existence might emerge. We need ministry in the outdoors, youth groups, online education, seminaries, retreats, Sunday schools, and casual gatherings, working in harmony to meet the needs of diverse consumers. This type of equipping will require bold empowerment from our established church structures. The new expression will need space, time, nurture, and guidance if it is to grow. God's work has always been the mission of the church, and now that God is calling us into something new and scary, our mission remains the same. To do God's will, to choose God's way, to live like Christ and reflect God's bold love into all the dark places. We must seek and find the leadership already in place and ready to take on this task. We must look for this leadership transitioning from unexpected places. We must look for it rising in the next generation so that all of it can be cultivated and strategically placed. We need to care for and support this leadership, seek justice with them, so that their whole souls are prepared for this task. Not only does Paul speak to us about equipping the saints, but that we must be able to stand firm in our beliefs, not blown to and fro with new bestsellers. Paul articulates to us about speaking truth in love, not battering or beating others with firm beliefs, but always acting and speaking with God's love. Being the body of Christ in this new era is going to be an awesome and exciting challenge for the United Church of Christ. It will stretch us and grow in new ways, perhaps even beyond the 1957 vision. But God has us. God is shaping us and inviting us forward. I believe with all my heart that God is calling me to stand with the church during this new birth, to help this new expression emerge into reality and burn in hearts, to become a living, vibrant faith that serves God's work in the world. I pray that God can use my gifts and talents in this endeavor. I pray that I may be Christ to you as you will be Christ to me, and that together we serve the living God in faith, in hope, in mercy, as faithful and good servants. I pray that together we may build the church of the 22nd century and that God will call it good. I believe that technology is a powerful tool that we can use to enhance and extend our relationships, that can help the physical distance between us seem smaller. Some parts of the church have been slow to embrace new technologies because of fear of the negative elements that can come with it. These are good fears to have. We must be eager to express the church in all the new places, but we must protect our most vulnerable at the same time. Technology for the sake of looking cool is not worthwhile, but technology that can be the tendons that hold the body of Christ together is a worthwhile endeavor. I hope that together we can build a multifaceted network of new technologies and social networking that enhances the body of Christ. So many people, pastors, and lay people today are walking around with gaping holes trying to find God, but feeling empty. Our culture continues to deny people, especially young people, opportunities of meaningful formation. By understanding this and possessing the necessary skills, I am able to encounter people in an affirming way that allows them to form relationships that empower freedom to explore ideas and feelings without fear of judgment. I see people realistically without losing sight of their fundamental goodness, and I am able to offer myself as a guide without the need to fix those who feel lost. Churches seeking to be successful in today's changing world need integrated leadership. Leadership that can help employees, clients, pastors, laity, and donors to connect with God's mission in deep, meaningful, and life-changing ways. The church of today and tomorrow needs people who can forge and sustain empowering relationships with all kinds of people in all places of life. That is what I know I can do for the church of tomorrow.